world. Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. Now, this is a continuation of the saga into getting these Makita lithium ion batteries back up and running again. And in this video, we're going to be looking at power pack number 3. If you look down there, look, there's number 3 under all the tape. And on this one, we replaced one of the cells. It's a single layer cell. It's a 1.3 amp hour power pack, and already replaced the cell. You've already seen that on one of the previous videos. And as an update on the power pack number 1 that we fixed, yes, still working. So that one is definitely a fix. Very happy with that. So the next plan is to see if we can resurrect this one. There's a bug on the screen. Geez, can't be having that, can we? Be about this big going over the lens. Okay, so next job is to charge up. Now, which cell was it? So the box. We did all the measurements on the previous video. So cell pack number 3. We've got cell number 2, which is down to 1.46 volts. Yes, sorry, 1.416 volts, which is way too low to be accepted by the charger. So before we change the circuit board, because we don't know whether that's failed or not, or whether the logic inside has said, hey, no more charging for this battery, we need to charge up that cell. Now, you've seen me do that on the previous video, so I'm not going to bore you to death. I'll give it a go and see if I can get that cell up to about 3.7, what was it, put about 3.7 volts, 3.75 volts. Which is going to be somewhere in the middle of the voltages on the other cells. So I'll get set up. I will roll the camera, because if we get smoke and stuff, then you'll want to see that, won't you? As I've already explained, these batteries are extremely dangerous. So I'm quite tentative when it comes to charging them up. And I'm using my, my adjustable power supply to do the charging. It's possibly wrong, possibly right, I don't know. But I'm going to be using about 4.5 volts as the charging voltage. I'm going to measure the current flow. Now, the difference being with this only being a single layer of cells, I can't really use the same level of current as I did on the larger power pack that had 2 of these cells working in parallel. On that one, I was pumping through about 1.5 amps. With this, I don't really want to go any higher than about 3/4 of an amp, 750 milliamps. Sorry. So I'll get set up, and you can watch the first bit if you want while I set it up, and we'll see if it's going to work. Don't know. I do have one circuit board left, which is in this bag here. I've ordered some more, but they haven't arrived yet. So with these 2 remaining power packs, if they both need circuit boards, then the last one is going to have to wait a little bit. But these are only a few dollars and available from eBay. There's quite a few different types, so you've got to take your time choosing the right ones. But this one will do both 3 amp hour, the larger power pack, and the 1.3, so pretty versatile. Cool, okay, well, back to the bench. Here we go. Right, so everything's set up as we had it before. The only addition to the previous video is I've now fitted an external automotive style fuse for my meter, because the internal fuse was such a pain in the ass to keep stripping the meter down and changing it. Right, so on this one, it's the cell number 2 that needs charging up. And I'm going to put a little dot up here just to remind me that this is the positive side. There we are, look, positive on there. Okay, because if I get it wrong, it could end in disaster. Right, cell 2 up there. Right, we'll turn on the power supply, and we'll set that to about 5 volts. Tell you what, Mr. Young, it'll work even better if you plug it back in again. Jeez. There we go. Right, turn on the power supply. And we don't want 15 volts, that's not going to work, so we'll choose about 4. I think I said it's about 5 before we started charging on the last one. It's a much more accurate display on here than it is on the analog meter. Okay, so you can see both meters. We've got voltage on here, oh, bang on, look, and we've got the amperage, the current flow through the circuit on this meter, and we don't want to exceed 0.75 of an amp. 3/4 of an amp. Right, so let's get this right around. So positive is on that side, negative is on that side. Okay, so I'll try and do this. Well, we'll do a little touch test first just to see how it's going to work. Then once I get it set up, then we'll be able to leave it to charge up for a few minutes. Right, negative and positive. Wow. That's a lot more amps than I was hoping for, so we'll turn that voltage right down. We're up to about 2 amps there, so remember the battery voltage at the moment is only 1.4 volts, so it's going to charge up really quick, and that's a bad thing for these kind of batteries. Let's see what we get now. Oh, we're on 0.02 amps, which is not enough, so we're going to increase the voltage a bit. Take it up to about 2.8. See what we get. Okay, 0.13 amps, way too low. So I'll go a little bit higher. It may be that this battery's duff, we don't know, this cell. Oh, okay, 0.6 of an amp. Well, I'm quite happy with that, so give it maybe a minute, watching for smoke continuously, because that will be bad. Okay, it's just that was near maybe 30 seconds of charge. Let's turn the power supply off, and we should then see the residual voltage of the cell on here. Currently is nothing. Holy moly, that's not what it was last time we tested it. Hang on a minute. Just get my leads out and we'll test it directly. So, positive. Working in close proximity here. Positive, negative. 2.8 volts. Okay, well that's gone up considerably. Right. See if we can get that rigged up so it's going to work properly. Oh, I know why, because we disconnected it, didn't we? Right, so put that back on there again. What a donkey. Okay. Pop that on there. I was right in the first place. Jeez. Okay, so now the next job is to flip the whole thing over. So positive is now on this side. And just... Jeez. See why these things short out. Okay, so we need to go onto there and onto there. So positive is this side, so we'll stick that on there. Negative is on this side. I'm not going to cause any problems with that. There we go. Right, so we're on 2.7 volts residual voltage in cell number 2. Right, so we'll turn on the power supply again. Okay, so we've got 0.55 of an amp flowing through the circuit. We're currently providing 3.5 volts from the power supply. And we'll leave that for a few minutes. We'll come back, kill the bug. We'll come back and we'll check the residual voltage of that cell again, and we can do that dead easy just by turning off the power supply. Give it a few seconds and we'll see what it settles down to. Remember, the target voltage is about 3.7 volts residual. And every now and again I'll just keep checking to make sure that the cell isn't getting hot. If I see any smoke, I'm going to abort mission. Yeah, don't want it exploding on me. Okay, back on again. Now obviously we're not going to charge up to 3.7 volts at the moment when we're only supplying 3.5, but we'll bring the voltage up of the cell and then we'll increase the supply voltage a bit more. I don't know, we'll give it a full whack of say 5 volts right from the start because the amperage flow will be too high. Cool. I'll keep this rolling because it seems to be charging pretty quick. And you can see as the voltage is coming up, the voltage differential, it becomes less, and we see the amperage flow, the current flow, dropping continuously. Let's have another look, see what we've got. See, we're at 3 volts now. It's going up pretty quick, isn't it? Right. Okay, let's see what we're up to now. It's been another 5 minutes or so. So power off. And the battery cell here is now at about 3.2 volts. Now we've only got about 3.5 volts going around the circuit, so as a supply voltage. We need to crank that up a little bit now to get a bit more current flow because we're right down to 0.2 of an amp, which is, it's bugger all, isn't it? So we'll just bring that up. Okay, so we're back to about half an amp and we're on almost 3.9 volts supply. Jeez, come on, we're doing stuff here. Okay, yeah, almost 3.9 volts supply voltage, and we've got half an amp now flowing through, and that cell is still, actually it's still icy cold, same temperature as the rest of them, to be honest. Okay, and we're aiming for 3.8 volts, pretty much, I would say. Well, 3.7, 3.8 by the looks of it. We've got cell 1 that's got 3.45, 46 volts, and cell 3 that's 3.43. And then 4 and 5 are both at 3.8. So these two are a bit more charged than the rest of them. And one thing that the battery charger, the Makita charger, looks for is the voltage differential between each of the cells. And if it's too great, it'll reject the power pack and it'll refuse to charge it. And that's when you get the red and the green lights, you know, flashing on the charger alternately. Oh, we'll give it a few more minutes. We're almost there. Little bug. Die. You have no idea what you're on, have you? Bastard thing. Okay, let's see where we're at now. Okay, so 3.29 volts. Not too far to go. When we were charging the larger pack up on the previous video, we got to about 4.5 volts supply voltage, so we're still well under that at the moment. But my main concern is I can't exceed that 0.75 of an amp, the 750 milliamp current flow. I don't want to cook this battery at all, this cell. No risk. So far, so good. This is the power pack that we had the short on when I was doing the soldering. Yeah, that wasn't good, was it? Okay, I'm going to crank the voltage up to 4 volts now. There we go. Almost 4 volts. And you can see the current flow now has gone back up to half an amp. Okay, let's see where we're at. So power supply off, and we'll watch that voltage drop. Okay, not too bad. So we're at almost 3.4 volts. So we're starting now to get around the area of the charge in cells 1 and 3. We're just under at the moment, so we need to go a bit more now. So we'll carry on. And what I'm going to do is just crank up that voltage again slightly. There we go. So just 4.1 volts, still way down, and we're back up to about just over half an amp current flow. It's really important that you don't overcharge these cells. Okay, so we're down to about half an amp flow again, so we'll just turn the power supply off and we'll take a reading. Now obviously it can't be over 4 volts because that's our supply voltage. We're on 3.41 volts now, so we need a little bit more. So power back on. I'm just going to crank that up a fraction more now. I'll do 4.3 volts now as a supply voltage, and we're right on the brink there. We're at basically 3/4 of an amp, so we really don't want to go any higher than that. It's still very cool. You can't feel any kind of heat coming from it, so hopefully we'll be okay. It's amazing how quickly these cells will actually charge up, to be honest. Okay, so just looking at the camera, we've been charging this now probably for about 20 minutes. There was obviously a little bit of a setup time at the start. The camera's been rolling about 24 minutes in this position. So we'll turn the power supply off again, just see where we're at. Okay, we're getting closer at 3.45 volts. Okay, so now this cell is charged the same basically as these two. But we want to bring it up slightly more. I'd like to get it up to about 3.7 if I can. So we'll turn the power supply back on again. And we're pretty close to maximum amperage, so I can't increase the voltage anymore really at the moment. We're just going to have to wait, basically. It's receiving full, well, as much current flow as I want to give it, put it that way. I'm sure it'll probably take a bit more, but I'm not ready for any sparks and flames and stuff just yet. So supply voltage is 4.3 volts, and you can see the current flow is very slowly dropping down as that cell is starting to charge and get close to its maximum. And the closer the voltage gets to the supply voltage, of course, the lower the voltage differential between the two, and the less current flow we're going to see. Okay, I can tweak that a fraction now because we've got a little bit of spare capacity on the current flow. I'm not even going to look at the voltage, I'm just going to look at the current flow side of it. Way easy, tiger. It's a bit too much. There we go. Wow. Almost an amp. Jeez. Right on the verge of maximum as far as I'm concerned. Okay, let's see where we're at now. So power supply off. What's it going to settle down to? Almost 3.5. Okay, we'll give it one more blast. Just want to get that a little bit higher if I can. Nah, still working. Who was that? Was that you? These meters like to turn off, unfortunately. Hopefully with lots of editing this won't be too boring for you, but I think it's interesting to see the correlation between the current flow and the voltage supply and how long it's taken to charge this battery up, because you know, I think there'll be a lot of people doing this kind of thing at home, trying to get their power packs to work again Because man, it was so frustrating. One day the power pack was working just fine, plenty of capacity. It may not last quite as long as a brand new one, but the next day wouldn't work at all. Oh, come back. There we go, look. Really? DC volts. There we go. It was confused. Okay. Right, let's see what we're at now then. So power back off, power supply off. And 3.5, 3.49. Okay. Well, it's not quite as high as I was hoping, but it is higher than these two cells. That one's 3.4, well, 2.46. That one's 3.43, and this one's 3.48. So I reckon we'll give it a go. Okay, so we'll disconnect it from the circuit. We'll reinstall the battery pack into its case, and we'll try it on a charger. That's the next plan. In fact, to save a bit of time, we'll take that one out. That's going to get put back in its case. Let's get power pack number 4. And on number 4, it's cell 1 that's got the problem. Now this is the one that I spotted. I had a little rust hole just here, but hopefully it's not going to be a problem. We'll find out. Now, positive. Jeez, I think this end is positive. This one wasn't marked up. That's weird. Normally I mark them all up. Yes, the ring end is the positive. So we're doing power pack number, well, cell number 1. So that's positive. And that's negative. Okay. Right, so we'll pop the little clips back on again. So there's your positive going on. You'll be quite careful not to touch the outside of the cell, because I think the outside of the cell underneath that insulation is negative. So, wouldn't be good. Okay, I'll put that on there. Right, better turn it down a little bit, and we'll turn it back on. Okay, so what voltage are you at? Okay, we're at 3 volts. Probably afford to go a bit more than that. Okay, 3.3. Let's get that current flow up a little bit. There we go. Right, so we'll leave that one charging while we put the other one in its case. You can come with me. Excellent. I sincerely hope that I don't do many more videos like this, because flies, go away. I don't know how it's going to come out. I mean, here you are watching a battery charge up, and numbers on an ammeter go down and numbers on a voltmeter go up. It's a bit weird, isn't it? But anyway, it's here to serve a purpose, and hopefully, you know, I thought I'd bring you along on this journey so you could see just how successful or unsuccessful this mission is. Right, so we're on power pack number 3, which means we need case number 3, which is just here, look. So we'll take that out of there. And this is the one, because they're only a single layer power cells, they come with this little rubber thing at the bottom, so we'll stick that in there first. Right, time to reassemble. God, I hope it works. Dum 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 dum. Okay, let's try and get that around. So it goes that way, and they just sit in there. Very dubious about the insulation on these things. I've had problems in the past. But hey, if it starts to catch fire, I'm just going to run and let you guys put it out, okay? They shouldn't really be that bloody sensitive, should they, really? Okay. Right, it's in. All we need now is a spring, which is there, and one of these little ones, because they are different to the larger ones. They've got a slightly different length piece down here, I think it is. That goes on there. Push it down all the way, get the lid, stick the lid on, let go of that now. There we go, that'll work. Right, need some screws. I'll just put 2 in for now because we're only testing it. 1. Two. Release works. Cool. Okay. You see why you need 4 screws, can't you? Right, let's get the, we'll use this charger. Makita. Okay, this is the low amperage charger. This one is just a 2.6 amp charger. These are actually a lot better for your battery packs than the blue ones, these chargers here, which this one is a 9 amp supply. You see that there, look? 9 amps. That's a lot, you know. Okay, and if you're not pushed for time for charging them up, use the black chargers. Okay, here we go. Fingers crossed. Oh, okay, so we've got the alternating lights. That tells us it thinks the battery is broken. That's because the logic in that circuit board inside is telling it it's broken. Okay, so the next job is going to be to fit the circuit board. It's not too bad a job actually, as you saw on the last video. Okay, so we'll do that while the other one's charging up. Then maybe, just maybe, this is going to work. Okay. We're going to have to take it out of the cradle again. I hate this bit. This is the worst bit, getting it out without destroying everything. Flat screwdriver. And big balls, I think. Right. Jeez. Sorry, battery pack. And when you're doing this, if you've got a steel bench like me, make damn sure you've got a mat down on the bench, because otherwise, as you can see, everything's going to short out, because these connectors, these little buzz bar things, they stick way down on the cells. Right. Okay. So what did we learn from last time? Well, remember, this thing is charged. We did put some tape on it for some reason. Can't quite remember why, but anyway. So potentially it's a bomb. So we're working with a live bomb at the moment, which I'm not very happy about. But I suppose we just take it steady and be sensible about it. It shouldn't be too bad. Jeez. Dodgy as hell. Okay, so we've got to cut this one and that one, and then we've got to desolder this little wire here. This is like a power feed to the circuit board, which I think probably stays constant all the time and takes a little tiny drain out of the batteries. Right, so we can do that first, I suppose. It's probably the easiest bit to do. Oh, I think Ben's coming out. I don't know why. Right. Just warm that up. There we go. That was pretty easy. Right, I'm back. So I wonder if we can just desolder that one off there. That might be a bit easier. Get the little screwdriver. I hate using metal, so I'd rather have a plastic screwdriver for this. Get a bit of weight under there, a bit of leverage, and just desolder that off there. Way. Nothing like making you jump. Are you off? You are now. Okay. We'll just bend that out of the way. At least we're off the power pack. That's the important thing. Okay, we've got one more to do. Now this side here is spot welded, so I'm going to just cut through the sides cutters with that one, I think. So we'll just snip through there. God, it's red wire, blue wire, isn't it? Okay. There we are, we'll tidy that one up later on. So now we can undo the screw. With a screwdriver that'll actually work, we'll use that one. Okay, there we go. Oh, don't lose the screw, Mr. Young. Okay, now this should just lift off. Now there is a little thing that sits in some resin, that thing there, look. God knows what it is. But on the new circuit board, it's being soldered on the top side, so you don't have to worry about getting it back in there again, which is pretty good. So, can we see anything wrong with the circuit board? Probably not. I think it's just a logic thing, and that's maybe my blood. Don't know. God, flies! I hate them. Okay, so nothing obvious from a visible check on that circuit board. So I'm pretty sure it's a logic decision that's decided that the battery pack is duff. And to be fair, well done, Makita. It was actually right because it did have a duff cell, so it was just doing its job. But we don't need it anymore. Right, now, new one. Okay, this is where we're going to start to concentrate a bit because Andy will mess it up. Now, there's this thing. Now, the old one didn't have one, but this one does. Now, I don't mind a few extra wires, but the problem is, where does it go? Because it's pretty damn tight in these boxes. And we can't stick it between the cells because there's only one layer of cells. It's going to have to go under the circuit board at some point, so maybe we can just stick it there and then offer that down. I'm going to screw the circuit board down first. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, now that, where did that go? That little, oh, down there, didn't he? So that red one needs to go back, so we'll do that. He needs to go back that way. Going to work. It looks a bit offset to me. It should be more over here somewhere. Not telling me the screw hole's in the wrong place. Shush. Oh, it is. They are different, look. The mounting point for that screw hole is over to that side, and on this one it's over there. Shit. Well, that's a real shame. How are we going to get around that? I can't just drill a hole in there because it's a circuit board and it's got bits that are important. Jeez. It should really get screwed down, shouldn't it? We can't just leave it floating around. Maybe I could glue it down. Use some hot resin glue. Don't know. Does that pin still line up? Yes. I think it does. There. Okay, so why is it not sitting flat? Because there's a chip hitting that bit of plastic. Bloody hell. Maybe I can just screw the screw straight into there, but man, there's not a lot of clearance. Okay, so we'll just cheat and we'll use the soldering iron, which is terrible. But I'm just going to get that bit of plastic down out of the way. Right. So now, at least it should sit flat. That way around. I'm not even going to worry about where the hell that, I think it's some kind of circuit breaker thing. Thermal breaker. If it gets a bit hot, it'll just stop working. Right, that's going to go there. That does sit better. Right, I need to trim that back. God, so much to do. There we go. Right, I'll try again. This is the first small one that I've done, so you've got to bear with me, people. It's a learning curve. Right. Well, that seems to fit very well. There is almost enough room underneath for this to be poked under later on, so we can do that. Okay. I think it might work, and maybe the circuit board will be held into place once the lid's on. Not very happy about that, but it's sort of the only way to do it. That's that little piece there, look, which sits proud. It's on the other side of the circuit board on these aftermarket ones. But something I'm going to be aware about, if I order these, make sure you get the one that the screw hole's on the correct side, because this board said it worked with these 1.3 amp hour battery packs, and clearly it doesn't. Okay, well, we're not going to be defeated, not yet. So we'll just, oh, it's sat on there pretty well actually. I wonder if that if it glued itself down. Oh no, there we go. Alright, so we're just going to, you don't see that very often. It's got a manual A written on the chip. Okay, so I'll stick that down there. I can see lots of editing coming up. Okay. Ben came out to say pizza's ready, but I said pizza's going to have to wait because I'm doing batteries. Right, we'll solder that onto there like that. We'll solder that one onto there like that. And then we'll just hope for the best, eh? Okay, maybe try and find a glue gun. Tell you what, we'll stick a bit of tape. That's what we'll do. We'll put some tape around it for now, just to hold it in place, whilst we solder everything up. That's probably the easiest solution, isn't it? Just for now. Oh, come on, tape, do your sticky thing. Right. Okay, that's about where it needs to go. So at least now we can focus on soldering stuff, can't we? Right, I'm just going to tin that first. Before I get told off for not being inside of my tea. Okay. Way. Okay, and then we need to do this end as well. So we'll just solder tin the wires. Now, I'm not the best solderer. Anyone that's watching my videos, you will know full well that Andy Mechanic is actually pretty crap at soldering stuff. Oh, we'll just tin that one while we're on. There we go. Okay. Flat screwdriver, there he is. Well, that's on pretty well actually. Quite happy with that. Good. Okay. And last but not least is going to be this little bastard here. So we can get it through the hole. Now, okay, so we'll just stick it down there. Hopefully not making it too hard for us, is there? Oh, he's on. Okay, not the best soldering like I said, but it's going to work hopefully. So the negative's on, and that can't touch anything it shouldn't touch, which is good. Positive's on, and he's sort of out of the way too. And that little pickup wire is also in place. Okay, so we can take the tape off now. See if we can get the lid fastened on, because that's going to hold that circuit board in place. I'm not very happy that I can't screw it down, in all honesty. Mr. Chinese person that made that board and told me it was going to fit. But hey. We can't have everything our way, can we? Jeez. Right. Okay, just sort of steady the board. Right. Well, it seems to sit far enough down, it seems. So I'll put it back in the cradle. And it needs to go in, because I always get this the wrong way around, so it needs to go in that way. So the screw holes that are together, this points towards. Okay, well, she's in. And it's live, don't forget, as well. This thing could explode at any second. Right, we need a spring. Put that on there. God, it's like deja vu. I hope this one's going to work. Stick that on there. That pops out because it's not screwed down. Jeez. Don't know. Not overly impressed by this. And that red wire's catching on the quick release. I might need to reposition that one so it comes down this side. If there's enough room. Okay, well, here goes. All getting a bit messy, isn't it? Does bodge spring to mind? Just to me. Okay, I've managed to tuck it under this end of the board down here. Sorry it's so far from the camera, but I think you get the idea. Right, we'll stick that down there. That seems to still work okay. There's not a lot of room, is there? Alright, well, we'll try. If it catches fire, I'll just run. Alright, there's one. Seems that Makita deliberately don't give you any spare room, so you can play around with stuff. I'm putting all the screws in, otherwise it's just not going to sit right. So you look at that, that board isn't sat quite in the right place, is it? So it's probably not going to work. Damn! Try again, Mr. Young, try again. Tell you what, we'll all just be buying brand new Makita power packs, won't we, after this series of videos. Jeez. Who thought this was a good idea? Okay. So I don't want that wire chafing on there because it might rub through, so just not happy with this setup at all. We should just cut that off, wire them up direct, make a real bomb. I don't know. Alright, let's not worry about that for now. We'll try and find a home for that later on. Okay, that's where I think it needs to sit. Okay. This side, Mr. Young, this side. Right. Man, everything's really close. He's got those little locating dowels. That's where it should sit. That's definitely where it should sit. So there should be about a 3mm gap between the back of the board and that little ledge there. The question is, where the hell are we going to put this? And you see the original one, the original board, didn't have one of these thermal cutouts. Must have done it in a different way, somehow. Just want any wires around there, because this is where the steel bits of the charger make contact. I just want to see if it's going to work. So do you. Well, let's try it there. I don't think it's going to work there, but we'll give it a go. What the hell? I'm losing patience now. Which is most unlike me. I've only had loads of patience. Nah. Doesn't want to know, does it? It's even worse than before. Back to the drawing board. Right, see you shortly. Alright, well, 9th attempt later, I've managed to sort of get that little white thermal switch thing down there, thermocoupling down there, if that's what it is, out of the way. And the board is right down on its seat, so maybe, just bloody maybe, it's going to work. Okay. If not, I'll just do it again, and again, and again, until it does. Okay. Bloody hell. It's so frigging tight. I don't know what's going on. Definitely located better there. Alright, let's try and get some screws in. It's going to be wickedly tight, and it may not fully close, but it might be enough to get it on the charger. At least that way we can see if it's going to work. Don't want to break that board. But it is sat on its mounts, so this one has proved to be a lot harder to do than the original, the larger pack that I did in the previous video. I suppose once it's all bolted up it doesn't matter too much, but it's just not how I do things. Screw. Need a screw. There we are. Use that one. I'm just not happy. I'll be happy if it works, don't get me wrong, but... Okay, well, it has actually closed up, pretty much. So, and that still works, and that's in the right place. So there's one thing left to do. Stick it on the charger. Let's do it. What do you reckon? Black one or the green one? Let's do the black one. It's not quite as intrusive, is it? Okay, it's in the mains, it's flashing. Prepare yourselves. Here we go. Oh! That's charging. Oh, that's not charging. Maybe it says it's fully charged. hang on then. So, let's try it in the drill. Well, it works. And it didn't work before. Okay, so we'll do the same as on the last video. We'll chuck it in the grinder because that uses a lot more current. And we'll flatten it, and then we'll stick it back in the charger. A lot better. Okay, so grinder, battery, and we'll just chuck it in there, and you should see the little red light flash when it recognises it. There we go. It wasn't doing that before on this battery. So I'm going to completely flatten the battery down, chuck it back in the charger, and see if it recognises it, and charges it up. Hope so. See, this is the one we fixed in the last video. See, flashes. Bit more grunt, bigger battery. This one can't have quite so much charge in it, which is why I'm surprised it didn't charge in the charger. Okay. Right, we'll leave that to go flat over there. It's so frigging dangerous from here, does that? You see, it's nearly flat. You can hear the RPM coming down. Yeah, look. It's just told us it's no good. And that lasted, what, about a minute? Okay, well, back to the charger. Right, see if it's going to work. Charge. It is charging. Well, it flicked to green by now, hasn't it? Okay, so we'll leave that one to charge up. Still charging. It is. Believe me, it's still charging. Red light. And the other power pack 4, I don't have any more circuit boards, so I can't put a circuit board on it, but we can chuck it back in its casing and see if that charges. If it doesn't, I know I need to change the circuit board, and that will be the end of this video. It's almost charged. Let's find out how charged up it is. Okay, I've been slowly, while I've been filming the stuff, I've been slowly tweaking up the voltage. We're at about 4 volt supply, and we've got about 0.35 amps, so 350 milliamps currently going through the circuit, charging that battery up. Now obviously the cell can't be over 4 volts because that would be above the supply voltage, and that doesn't work. So I'll turn the power supply off and we'll see what it drops down to. And on battery 4, to get it to about the same as the rest, it should be about 3.5, 3.49, as you can see on the board there, look. That way around for you guys, 3.49. So that's the dodgy one, cell 1 that we're charging, and all the rest are 3.49. And we're on 3.47, so hey, that's close enough for me. So we can disconnect that carefully. And we'll go back to the side of the bench, and we'll fit this into its old casing and try it on the charger. If that doesn't work, it needs a new board. And I'm going to buy some more boards with the screw in the right place, because that one is the same as that one there, look, which is different to that one. I bet you learn stuff doing this, don't you? You realise that they've made them different. Okay, right, to the side of the bench. Okay, power pack, spare screw, I'll keep hold of that in my bits box. Right, there's our casing. So, we're learning now. That faces this end. He says with complete confidence. I'm going to try and do this really quickly so that you get to see if this battery works or not before you disappear off and watch something else. Probably tool girl Hannah trying her shirt on again, no doubt, because that's proved to be rather popular video as that one. Now that's the wrong one. That's right, that's off a large power pack. This is the small one. See the difference, look, on there? That's got like a longer tongue on it. That won't fit this. I know, I've tried it. Right. Took me a while to work out what was going wrong. Right, we'll stick that back in there. Hold it down. Get the lid. Stick the lid on. See, that's how they should fit. Perfect. Batteries. Nightmare, aren't they? Okay. And I'll put all the screws in because I don't know how long it'll be before that new those new circuit boards turn up, because I ordered two of each, so I'm hoping that the ones that turn up have got the screw hole in a different position, but they probably won't. And I'll get the glue gun fired up and I'll glue that circuit board down as well in the last battery, because it's still charging. Oh, you see, in about 10 minutes now, still charging. It's doing all right. Okay, so this one is ready to charge. We're going to have to use the blue charger. But hey, it'll work just fine for this experiment. So right, this is power pack number 4. Is it going to work without a circuit board? No, it's not. Right, let's have to wait for a circuit board. Cool. Wow, what an afternoon doing batteries. Been great fun. Okay, so on the previous video, definitely fixed the large 3 amp hour 18 volt Makita power pack, and that one, to fix it, required a couple of new cells and a new circuit board, and it's fixed. Perfect. The one that's on charge, which is, wait for it, still charging, which is good news. The burning smell, you can't smell smells, but the burning smell is the soldering iron. I need to turn that off, so hang on a second. Unplug that. Okay, so the one that's on charge, again, that needed 1 cell changing. Then we had to charge it up to match the rest, fit the circuit board, and that one is now charging. Work in progress. I want to test that, obviously, and make sure it's got a reasonable capacity. It doesn't just go flat with a couple of minutes of using it. The last one, I think we're on a roll now. The last one, power pack number 4. Change the cell, previous video, charge it up to match all the rest of the voltages on the other cells, so there's very little voltage differential between those cells, and it doesn't work. So again, this one needs a circuit board. I haven't got one. It's on order, should be here soon. I ordered it at the same time as the other ones. It's obviously going a different way around the world to get here. What have I proved? Well, I think we've proved that the logic on these circuit boards is definitely true. There's certainly some kind of inhibitor. Once the battery is put on the charger a number of times and the charger determines, it's a fail and it won't charge the battery, once that happens a number of times, it gets sort of locked in on that circuit board and it's never going to charge up. That's what I think's happened. So we've proved that. We've proved that yes, you can fix these batteries, and no, they don't explode yet on you. If you're going to work on them, be incredibly careful, people, because these things, they're a ticking time bomb. They really are. I've done some dangerous stuff in my life, but this really got me a bit wary. When I've seen these things go up, and you get very, very little notice. You get a little bit of smoke, and then boom, within a split second, that's it. Big bang, sparks, flames, ton of heat. Yeah, so just be really, really careful. And what do we use to do all this stuff? Well, yes, it's still hot. We use a soldering iron. I'm pretty sure most people have got a soldering iron. I used a couple of multimeters. Well, one was an amp clamp, but it gave us the voltage reading, and my multimeter, which got modified because the internal fuse blew. Which again, you've got that kind of stuff kicking around. The power supply, probably not. No, but you're going to need something to charge up those cells. So maybe you're going to have to buy one. But then, is it worth it? Because you could just go out and buy a new battery. I suppose it depends on how many of these power packs you've got to fix. And remember, I didn't buy any new cells. I could have done. Could have gone online and I'll just buy a lot of cells and solder them all in. I didn't do that. I basically pulled power pack number 2, sacrificial power pack, pulled it apart, and decided that that one was the one that I was going to salvage some known good cells from to fix the other 3. And it's worked. So far, I've got two usable batteries. I won't say good, I'll say usable. Okay, So things are looking good, and I'm really pleased that I've done this project and the fact that we've proved that it can be done. And hopefully I've covered quite a few areas around how these power packs work. And I know in the comments there's some really good comments on the other videos that have already been published from viewers explaining a lot more about lithium-ion batteries than I have. You know, like I said right at the start, I have very little knowledge on this type of battery. Although I've learned a lot doing the project, and that's one of the reasons why I do these projects, so that I increase my knowledge and hopefully take a few of you along on that journey with me. Okay crew, well pizza's getting cold, so I've got to go. If you found this video helpful, why not click on the subscribe button? You'll see a little gear icon turn up. Click on the gear icon and then you can tick the box and turn on notifications. That way our friends down at YouTube will send you an email as and when I upload any new videos. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals. However, first point of contact through the comments on YouTube, please, because, well, that's where I am all the time. And I'll see your comment fire up and I'll try and reply to you as quickly as I can. Can't guarantee I'm going to reply to everybody's comments. Some weeks there are hundreds of comments. Wow, it's cold in here tonight. Okay, what else? Oh, there's a new Patreon, or almost new Patreon page. You can drop on there and you can read all about how the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel came to be. I wouldn't say it was an accident, but it wasn't really planned. Not in the way it is now, and sure as hell wasn't with the Tool Girls, that's for sure. But they're great fun. Tool Girl Hannah, by the way, is back in on Saturday. So there should be some videos starting to hit the channel from Sunday onwards. So not too far away now. 21st today, 22nd tomorrow. So by the 24th, New Zealand 24th, which will be your 23rd, because we're a day ahead, I think. Anyway, very confusing, this time zone thing that goes on. But in a few days' time, you'll see some more Tool Girl videos. That was easy, wasn't it? Okay, crew. Well, until next time, cheers, over and out. Hey, Tool Girl Sam. How are you?
Back.
You're back! Fantastic.
So
I know, and I've got a new shirt, so I thought it's only right that I give you a new shirt too, so there you go.
So excited for my new shirt, and I don't have to wear different shirts every day. And as a classic Tool Girl Sam move, I am going to wear it like this. Wow, would you look at that? I'd say that is a great present for your girlfriend if she's into tools. If she's not, she's probably into tools because you're a tool. See what I did there? Tool Girl shirt, perfect.